Este programa é um oferecimento ADEGA Online, o marketplace oficial da revista ADEGA.
It's a pleasure. I know your wines for a long time, of course.
Thank you.
And you are all over in Brazil. Not only one good importer, but two of them that are friends of mine as well.
Excellent.
So it's very good to have the opportunity to talk about your project and your dream that started as a dream. So
Everything runs around the dream. Maybe because the life is made in that way. I think that more or less we are all dreamers.
Really.
And then there's somebody that runs after the dream harder, and somebody that says, but it's only a dream.
Yes, yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think that we have the fortune of work in a market that is full of dreams. You can enjoy it.
Sometimes people tells me, why you are working? You have a lot of success. You can retire. I say, look, I have to retire for enjoying my life, for doing what I love. But this is what I love.
Yes, yeah.
I'm already retired.
In a way.
In the past, I was working. Now I'm doing what I love. It's different.
This is great.
Because when I started, I was needing to make profit and everything.
Yes.
Now I'm doing what I love. I'm running after different kind of dreams.
Can you tell me a little bit about your start? Because you have a young company that was able to reach many success or many good things all over the world, and with your products and with your projects. And I would like to start from the beginning.
I think that everything came from the way of looking the world of wine in a different, from different perspective. Normally, we consider that if you are a wine producer, you need to have 1,000 hectares of vineyards.
Yes.
If you have 1,000 hectares of vineyards, you're considered a producer of great quality wine, grapes. Me, from the beginning, because I came from a small family that was owning a small property, I always considered in a different way. I think that better to have 1,000 hectares and to have 30 people to work in my vineyards. It's much better to have 1,000 growers with 1 hectare that cultivate their vineyards with a lot of passion and experience. Their passion and their experience makes a unique product, and you cannot consider the product cultivated by one family, 1 hectare, industrial grapes, and grapes that came from 1,000 hectares, 1 company, and artisanal grapes. I understand that it's strange because when we started was looking something completely out of the rules, but everything started from there. And then the second consideration is that to produce wine is like to have a restaurant. And to try to build a winery that with objective to become the largest Italian boutique winery like we did,
okay,
it's not important to produce all ingredients like in a restaurant. The restaurant, you buy the best ingredients, but who really makes the difference, who really brings you to the 3 Michelin star is the chef.
Okay.
And the wine is exactly the same. Of course, if you don't have the best grapes, you will never make a great wine. But if you don't have best winemaker, you will never make great wine anyway. Because the day that the vines makes already the bottle, okay, there is nothing that we can do because the bottle is produced by the vines. But till we have to produce the wine, everything is in the hand of winemakers. And this is why, even if when we started, we was having no vineyards, no winery, and no bottling facility, I say we can do it. We can succeed to create the largest Italian boutique winery, because boutique winery doesn't mean small winery. it doesn't mean that you have to be rich. What means boutique winery is to give a lot of attention to little detail, because the attention to the small detail makes the difference. And even if we started from zero, the first year, the first harvest, we had 4 winemakers working with us.
Nice.
And this was, from day one, we sent a strong message in the direction of quality. My business partner, Filippo Baccalaro, is a 3rd generation of winemaker from Piedmont.
Okay.
His grandfather was the first officially graduated winemaker from the school in Piedmont, in Asti.
Nice.
And him, every harvest, was employing winemakers from Southern Hemisphere. We had a lot of winemakers that became also famous in their career, that started working with us.
Nice.
Yeah, yesterday I was watching Santa Carolina, for instance,
Yes.
Maria del Pilar Gonzalez.
Yeah, I know it.
She started to work with us.
That's great.
We met each other 4 years ago in Santiago.
It's
And
incredible.
yeah, it's nice because after so many years, still the relation is very strong. For us, always the attention to the vinification was making the difference. And as soon as we became big enough, we made a big investment that also makes a big difference between us and competitors. The investment was in searching better way to vinificate or to control the harvest or the production. We create an R&D division inside the company.
Okay.
We bought 60 very small vinificator, 30 liters only, with exactly the same technology of the big one,
Okay.
for doing at least 100 experiments every harvest. And this helps a lot, accelerate a lot for you the way
the
of funding.
improvement.
Yeah, exactly, to improve your wine.
Well, I was thinking a little bit or reflecting. I didn't have the largest, as you said, the largest
Boutique winery.
concept, but I was relating it with 2 or 3 different concepts. One of them is kind of a negociant way of doing things that happens in Burgundy, maybe in another scale, but some of the most interesting winemakers in Burgundy, they buy grapes for very specific vineyards managed by families, small plots.
They
identify that and said, okay, I'm not going to buy it because it's very expensive, but I want to have access to the grapes, and I will create my wine based on that. So it's a concept that have been used for iconic wines for a long time. But and then you see what's happening, for instance, in Chile, where they have families cultivating varieties that didn't have much market in the past, like País that they have in there, and it's like they are buying the grapes from that families that could not make a living in a let's say sustainable way. And I've been there last year, and I had the opportunity to talk with this small growers of grapes, and they said, oh, thanks to this, my son is now a doctor. Thanks to this, my daughter is working in the whatever. And I said, okay, this is kind of a way to fix people with quality in a respectful way, and otherwise they would just leave the grapes over there someday because nobody was going to take care of that. So it's some treasures. In a way, it's very human. And I kind of related this with your story when I read it.
I consider the maximum of social sustainability
Good.
because it's the model of business where everybody take an advantage. And the model of business where the advantage is only one side, from my point of view, doesn't work. For me, company of success needs to create a lot of success for the company, but also a lot of benefit for all the world that turns around the company.
How many families are related, of producers are related with your business nowadays?
It's 1,700 people.
Wow, it's great.
It's a lot. And all located in a very poor area.
Okay.
Because you have to consider that a grower with a very small property, they have no future.
Yes.
They cannot vinify.
They don't have leverage.
They cannot spend money to create the minimum of technology for doing it. In this case, we give an alternative without taking their vineyards. Because if I buy their vineyards, I take away a piece of art from them.
Yeah.
There are growers that they call the vines by name.
Incredible.
Because they say, I planted this with my grandfather. My father said that he planted this with his father. This is something that we cannot lose. This is an ingredient of quality that makes unique every wines.
And I read that you don't pay them by the production.
No.
But by the area.
The weight for us, it's something that we decide. They have only to take care to bring in the best health in the quantity that we want. They are paid by the extension of vineyards.
Great.
1st of January, they know the vegetation didn't start, but they already know how much money they will make that year.
Good.
This allows them also to make investment because they know exactly how much money they get.
Okay, great.
This is part of the way of doing business.
This is very good. This is very good. And you started in the south of Italy?
We started in Abruzzo.
In Abruzzo, okay.
It's just east of Rome on the Adriatic coast.
Okay.
And when we became the leading winery in Abruzzo, we had demand from customers for looking for other region.
Okay.
And also because the most important wine that we make, it's a blend of 5 indigenous grape varietal.
I love this wine.
To searching the best vineyards in any region of the south, we started also to do experiment of vinification, but also to know the potentiality of other region. And this is why we started in the other region, not only for Edizione. The beginning was for Edizione, but then when we realized that there was a huge potentiality, we concentrated with all the other wines.
And which regions are you covering right now?
Abruzzo, Puglia, Basilicata, Campania, Sicily, Tuscany, Sardinia, and recently we bought a winery in Spain.
Now, everybody's buying something in Spain. Why do you think it's happening?
For me, it was because a very close friend of mine, my best friend, invested there, and then
he said, "Come join."
He was great in making wine, but he was knowing zero in selling wine.
Okay.
And only making wine is very important, but if you don't have a market, what you do with wine, you cannot use for irrigation.
Yeah.
Something you have to do. And when he was in trouble, I told him, hey, look, it's better that we became partner and we handle the sale and you continue to handle the production.
Yeah. I have recently not, but last year and this year we already tasted your sardine wine. It's an incredible product. The sardine.
The Sardinia.
Yeah, it's
I think I'm very proud of the wine that came out from Sardinia.
Yeah.
Really very proud because it's another area, especially where we have the winery, that it's not well known and needs support.
And one of the other relationships that we know you have is with sports. with cyclism and also running. I would like you to tell us a little bit about that and how did it affect your way of perceiving business and how you manage effort and success based on that?
I think that everything I did in my life, I have to say thanks to what I learned in the sport. Because, first of all, the sport teaches you how to work hard in order to achieve a result. And thanks to the first sport that was bicycle, and I started to dream. My first dream was to become a professional cyclist and to do the Tour de France and to win some stages at the Tour de France. And when I started the first race, I finished last. Definitely last. I worked so hard for 1.5 years till that I finished first to a race. But even if I won a few races, my legs was not good enough to become a professional riders. And I started to dedicate to work.
Okay.
But I continued to work with a lesson that I learned from the sport and continuing to dream. My dream never finished. I worked very hard, and at a certain point of my career, when the company was already big enough, I decided to sponsorize a team that was going to Tour de France. And one day, I only watched 2 stages in presence at Tour de France. There was one stage that was finishing in Reims in front of Taittinger winery, and my riders with my logo won the stages. You know, my dream at a certain point say, hey, look,
I got
at the end, my dream in a different way became true.
Oh, you were part of a team, isn't it?
Exactly, as a sponsor, but in a different way it became true. And the lesson was you never have to say that it's impossible. Anything that is not possible today, that looks impossible today, it can become true tomorrow.
Great. And you were also a runner, a marathonist.
Yeah, I did a lot of marathons, all the major marathons.
All over the world.
Because with my job, it was not possible to ride bicycle because
Yeah,
you cannot bring bicycle with you, but a pair of shoes you can bring with you, and also to keep in good shape, and at the same time helps me a lot to maintain my head active.
I run as well, so
Okay, in this case you know exactly how
exactly
it works.
Yeah.
And of course, when you do sport at a certain level, what you want to do, the most difficult one,
Yes.
and it's marathon.
I never did a marathon yet, maybe someday, but I don't know. I'm too old for that. But that's great.
No, it's never too old to do the marathon.
Yeah.
My last marathon was 5 years ago. I was 59.
Oh, so I can have some hope yet. No, but it's great. It's great. I think that sport brings us a lot of.
It's a lesson for the life.
opportunities,
It's a lesson for the life, and train you to work hard. And the hand today that we are sponsor of both sport.
Okay.
In both section, I say, okay, I give you the sponsorship if you have a team for young people.
That's great.
Yeah, because I want to give the same chance that I had, I want to give to others.
And one thing, when you say about young, I have seen that in your projects, you select younger and
Winemakers.
winemakers.
Definitely, we want only young winemakers. Want people that we select from university with highest score.
Okay.
And then we send to do harvest in other country. In 4 years, they have to do 8 harvests.
Okay.
4 in the southern hemisphere,
And
4 inside the company, but in different region.
Okay.
Because they need to be flexible to work with different grape varietals, different area, different climate, different problem. And this makes them more reactive, but at the same time, they start to make wine knowing much more about the competitors.
Yes. And let me ask you something. Which countries do you send your team to Chile, Argentina, United States, Australia, South Africa? What?
Yeah, we have a very good connection with a few wineries, and
Okay.
we always send to the same wineries that we have connection. We exchange, they send
Good.
their winemaker to us, but mainly Australia, New Zealand, because New Zealand, the condition, it's with a lot of rain,
Yes.
with the cold weather, and it's
It's a
very
challenging
important.
environment.
Yeah, it's very important to learn how they work. South Africa
Good.
and Chile.
Chile.
Some of them also in Argentina.
Okay, but
The head winemaker we met the first time in Argentina.
oh really?
Yeah, I met him, even if it's originally from Abruzzo. I never met him. I heard about him that was working in Argentina by our consultant Alberto Antonini. He told me there is this guy with a lot of talent. What we have to
I
do.
didn't know that you have that Antonini was helping you with wine.
Yeah, we have 21 winemakers, but 21 winemakers, it's like to have two soccer teams.
That's
And
right.
the soccer team, they cannot play in the appropriate way if they don't have a trainer.
Yeah.
And Alberto is a huge organizer.
I love Alberto. He's a
huge
good
organizer. I don't think that the consultant makes wine. It's like to consider the trainer of soccer team to score the goal.
He
But
always says such a thing.
makes them to play in the best way and helps to make the best wine.
And he tells me that he provides them confidence to do what they think that should be done, and he's there to encourage them to do it and to have the fortitude of mind to be confident to do it. And
Exactly. He gives motivation that is really very important to them. Gives some technical suggestions
Yes.
because his experience is really very important, and teach them how to work in team, how to work with all for the same objective.
And he has a huge, let's say, commitment to sustainability. And
Absolutely. In fact, he loves our way of doing business because of the high sustainability that we have as a company.
and I have seen that you are managing the vineyards in a kind of in a sustainable way.
Our
but,
vineyards are all organic.
Okay.
The one that we own, 100% organic. All the wineries produce electricity, solar or from the wind,
Okay.
and it's another element that distinguishes. But normally, if you believe in sustainability, if you believe in working organic, you don't need to sell this concept. I am more proud of social sustainability,
Okay.
because that one is something that I want to promote to incentivize others to do the same.
Good.
But for selling, you don't have to buy my wine because it's organic or because it's sustainable. You have to buy my wine because it's the best. This is the concept.
That's what I think as well. It's very good to have organic or biodynamic wine and this kind of thing. But if it's not good, it's not worth it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we love good wine, and if they are
Exactly.
sustainable, even better.
We love even more.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I would like to. I'm looking at your wines over there. You have a huge cover of different grapes and different varieties and in different regions. And how do you feel a difference in working in different regions versus being in only one region? How did you select the regions and the specific sites that you are into right now?
In general, we analyze the different area. First of all, we need to have a lot of small growers that needs a company like us.
Okay, so first people,
Second, needs to be in an area where the potentiality of the grapes is very, very high.
Good.
And third, they need to have great ability in working in the vineyards.
Good.
Because what we need from the territory, it's only great grapes. And if we know that the local growers works in a best way, people tells me why you work always in a very poor area. Because the people have nothing else to do and they concentrate 100% on the vineyards.
And these people, are they old people? Or
Unfortunately, yes. But in the area that we started to work, a lot of young people, new generation, are starting to be incentivized to continue to work in the vineyards.
Good.
Why they leave? They leave if they don't make enough money. But when you put them in the condition to make the right money, it's wonderful to work in the vineyards.
Okay.
Your stress is zero today in the society. To have a work that makes you happy and to keep you out of stress, everybody wants to have if they make the right money.
Good.
And our model of business, it's done for helping them to make the right money.
Okay. And you have some projects that have bigger production than others in terms of brands. For instance, Sardinia is a small one.
It's a small because the availability of the grapes is small.
Okay, but so this side of the business, it's not definitive to take a decision of starting there or not. You found it in there, the right place, the right people. And
it was my dream before I was in the wine business because I was loving that area. I was loving mainly that grape varietals, especially the Monica that was almost unknown grape varietal, and knowing the local people. I was selling agricultural machine.
Good.
And I met people that works in the vineyard. I say, if I can help them, I have to do it.
And you started with Primitivo in a moment before Brazil got Primitivo as a main.
I think that I was maybe the first one to bring Primitivo in Brazil, and the first top Primitivo was with La Pastina, with Celso.
Yes. And Primitivo changed a lot, isn't that? In the beginning, I used to taste Primitivo, and I'm positively I was not in love with the grape, but then I went twice to Puglia to taste as many Primitivos as I could, and I said, okay, you have good things, and then I saw Primitivo keeping the opulence, but with a freshness and a balance. And do you see that Primitivo
You are
got
going back to the winemakers. It's not the ingredient, but it's the way that you work the ingredient to obtain the results. You don't create quality, but you can lose quality.
That's true.
The way that we work is in a very natural way. We don't add anything to what the nature gives us, but we try to transfer the quality that we have in the berries exactly in the same way in the glass.
Okay.
When the people says this wine is too fruity, it does not exist too fruity. If the wine comes from fruit, what you want to have in the glass?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
If it's came from fruit, we have to remember that everybody loves grapes to eat, but not everybody loves wine to drink. Means that from the grapes to the wine, there is something that we lose. And what makes pleasant to eat the grapes, we have to try to keep as much as we can inside the glass.
Yes, and I've been tasting all of your wines in the that are in World Wine La Pastina group, and all of them have this kind of equilibrium and balance, mixing joy, because you feel it with, in my opinion, the right acidity and texture as well. And maybe you explain me a little bit of this, because the winemakers have gone all over the place to make wine, so they bring
they bring experience, they bring knowledge. Everywhere you go, you learn something. But what we mainly want is that the people buys wines and drinks wine if it's pleasure, and always need balance in the wine. You don't need an element that covers the other. This morning we did the presentation with the sales force, and I was talking with them regarding the barrels.
Okay.
Because the barrels needs to age the wine, not to give flavors into the wine. When the barrels gives the flavors into the wine, we finished, because all the wine will taste the same, because all the barrels are the same.
Standardized.
In this case, we use a lot of American oak, and we love American oak because in France they cut too many trees.
Okay.
And the minimum age for the trees to make a good barrel is 75 years. And at a certain point there is no time to wait 75 years for the new barrel. In this case, we love to buy the staves from Missouri.
Okay.
Or other state. But we bring in Europe, and there is a Seguin-Moreau from France that makes the barrel for us in a very light toasting, because for us what is really important is that the barrel only have to age the wine, to have to turn a little bit the tannin, but not to change the flavors of the wine. If you toast the barrel too heavy, you change completely the flavors.
And so you are using different size of barrels, or you mainly use 225?
Mainly 225,
okay.
But also we use big barrels. When we put the white in the barrels, we prefer more the bigger one.
And even in this case, you use the American one, or
no, Slavonian.
Okay.
Slavonian and not toasting.
Okay.
Zero toast. We don't prefer to have a toasting at all. For certain wine, also with a little bit of toasting, but in general, we prefer not to have toasting.
Very good, very good.
Because the whites are so delicate, and we don't want to cover the characteristic of the grapes. At the end, in the glass, we have to distinguish the grapes.
Yes, Antonini always talks about over extraction, over ripeness, and over wood.
Exactly.
Yes, and
exactly.
So these are some things to avoid, in my opinion.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. We work together. It's more than 20 years, just because we have the same philosophy.
Good, very good. Would you like to cover some? Now, one last thing, because I know that we have time to finish, but we have spoke before. You have your daughter working with you nowadays, so
I have 2 daughters and 1 son.
yes.
All working in the company.
All working in the company.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I was last week with my older daughter in Ecuador and Peru, and then she's back to Italy because I have a baby of 1 year old.
This is nice.
And I am here, but she helped me there because she's very fluent in Spanish, because she worked 2 years in Spain. Before getting in the company, she worked 2 years in Spain, and then she did the master degree in Bordeaux in marketing of wine, and 3 level of WSET. And then she moved to work in China for Concha y Toro.
Oh, nice.
Because it was important to have experience with another winery.
Good.
And then she get in the company, and she's taking care of marketing, and she also does brand ambassador.
So, in Concha y Toro, she was related with marketing or commercial side?
No, marketing and brand ambassador also there.
Very good. So
she traveled all around China.
This is incredible, and it's an incredible company. I met every year with Isabel Glissast, and she
I,
does a great
I
job.
asked the favor to the Marcelo Papa,
Marcelo.
the winemaker.
Marcelo is a friend of mine.
It's a friend. We've been together last week.
Coffee lover.
Saturday we did 2 presentations. He was first and I was after
No,
him.
Marcelo is an incredible guy, and he has kind of a connection with your way of doing, because he is able to create.
No, he knows all
great
the story of
wines
our company. He loves, and he also worked very close with Alberto Antonini.
Yes.
Because he's consulting for his product.
Yes, they are great guys. The wine world is very small in
Absolutely,
a way,
absolutely. Because thanks to the winemakers, all the winemakers that worked with us, today we have friends everywhere.
Great.
I was one in McLaren Vale, Australia.
Yeah.
And with 2 producers, and they invited me to the restaurant. We arrived there, and when we get in, they say, sorry, unfortunately today we are closed because we are preparing the new menu, and we invited all the winemakers of the area to match the wine with dishes. I said, okay, it's no problem. We go to another place. When we was leaving, 2 of them came out and say, but is that guy Valentino? I say, yes. And he came to me, you don't recognize me because I worked with you 10 years ago. I say, sorry, you have, now you call in English La Barba very long. I say, how I can recognize you? But say, of course, you was a great guy and you did a great harvest with us.
Great.
Some of them we also offer to remain with us. When you have a talent, the company grows if they have a talent. When you have a talent, you always have to make an offer to stay with you.
And to talk about talent, your other 2 sons, are they, your other daughter and son, are they in the marketing also, or they different region?
My other daughter is in marketing and sales. Today, in fact, is in Czech Republic.
Okay.
And my son, he studied also as a winemaker, and he loves taking care of investment, winery, vineyards. He overlook all the operations.
So you were able to create a team.
Yeah, we created a team where everybody take care of something. Also because spending 250 days outside Italy, I need to have back a strong team.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of the team that I have. Also because when I say it's social sustainability, part of the deal is that if the company reach the goal every year, part of the profit is split between all the employees.
Oh, good.
And 100% of employees takes part of the profit. In this case, they want that we reach the goal more than me because they have an interest.
So they are saying, go ahead, you need to
We
travel.
are a team. Okay, I have some shares that they don't have, but they have the same interest I have. In this case, they work in the same direction. We all work in the same direction, and even I don't have to control them. Yes. Because if somebody doesn't do the things in the right way, there is his colleague that says, hey, what are you doing? If you're doing this way, we lose the bonus.
It's a culture in the company.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a culture where everybody feels to be the owner of the company.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you very much for your attention, Valentin.
It's my pleasure.
And I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with you and to understand a little bit more what's behind your wines.
Yeah, it's a company made under the different way of looking a winery, but it's very effective, and the control of quality is so strict that the day that I know that it's a company that does better than us, I want to learn from them. Of course.
Oh,
you always want to learn from who does anything better than you.
Yeah, and there is one thing in the wine world that I think is that there is a space for everybody that's doing a great job. Because there is no only single company that's going to be able to monopolize the market. So
absolutely. As soon as we all go in the same direction, I'm happy to have as much as competitors it's possible to have. You are not happy if you win a bicycle race or a marathon because you are the only
You're
runner.
Yes. That's
To
true.
be happy, you need to beat somebody. In this
That's-
case, you want competitors.
That's great. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Este programa é um oferecimento ADEGA Online, o marketplace oficial da revista ADEGA.